Istanbul Fashion Conference will talk about sustainable fashion, we have said. And now I'm going to give the word to very precious speakers and profiles of this session. Our dear moderator who will take over my job is Mehtap Elaidi. She is a fashion designer. Also, Burak Çakmak, the Thin co-founder, and George CEO, Christian Savia, is with us. And the chairman of the board of TYT Textile is with us. Now I shall give the word to our moderator.
To the 13th
Herkese teşekkür etmek istiyorum.
It was a great pleasure to have the opening with a short film from the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week Istanbul digital shootings we had like 2 weeks ago, and we will be watching them in a week now. Today we will be talking about the one issue that has been the talk of everyone for some time now, and for all the right reasons: sustainability in fashion. We will be discussing its effect on the fashion industry from 3 different perspectives, with very valuable guests who are all experts on their subjects. The first guest will be Mr. Burak Çakmak, the former dean of Parsons School of Design and co-founder of Thin, where he shares his expertise in sustainable business strategies. And he will be sharing his views on sustainability and how the curriculum of fashion schools had encountered in the recent years, and how these changes will have an effect on the fashion industry in the coming years. And then we will have Christian Savia, the CEO of JOR, the digital platform for wholesale technology for brands and retailers around the globe, where we are also working together. Christian's comments on how sustainability had an effect on sales and marketing of fashion, and what more is yet to come in the coming years, and how this will have a total effect on the fashion industry. After that, we will have our third guest, Mr. Mehmet Kaya, who is a very well-known manufacturer, the general manager of the company for distinctive brands for many years now. And he will be talking about how sustainability issue had affected their manufacturing process, how brands' demands have evolved in this period, and how he thinks it will further develop. We hope this will bring a 360% degrees perspective to the issue of sustainability of fashion for all those listening. Hello, Burak, we'll be starting with you. Thank you for accepting our invitation and sharing your valuable views on our first digital platform. You had acted as the Dean of Parsons School of Design in New York for 5 years, and now you're the founder of ThinCo. I, as a fashion designer myself, would love to hear what kind of curriculum changes had been made in the recent years, and in respect to sustainability, of course, and how this will affect the whole industry.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really looking forward to hearing all of your feedback as well on this topic. And I must say that the curriculum is evolving in all of the schools in a big way. And we are seeing that the reality of the industry has impacted the curriculum directly. So we have been one of the schools that really pushed in a big way to change the curriculum to reflect the reality of what's happening around us. So if you look at the way the industry evolved in the 90s and 2000s, everything was growing so fast. There was a lot of production, a lot of design, and many more designers have produced a lot of new. And the reality of that is there has been a huge impact on especially environment, but a lot of issues that with the impact side. Sure. As a result, we also have to look back as educators, the role of design in the whole process. And we recognize that designer can play a much bigger role to change the system recognizing that the system cannot continue in this way going forward. And as a result, we have broken down everything that relates to the curriculum. We looked at the whole value chain. And we basically recognize that it has design and go to the end user. So to do that, we didn't only look at addressing issues around raw material production and sales, but we really want to get it in a systemic way. And to be able to do that, you have to the business model is one of the issues for design has been that the business model has to evolve to address the real issues of the industry. And the designer has been created until now around creating a collection every but they're not thinking about the overall impact of this collection, the future to the society. So we basically wanted to put it upside down. We wanted to put the user in the center conversation. So the designer to think about not only what their inspiration connect these and create something that's attractive, but also think about what's the impact of what they're doing. Who is the design for? How is it impacting their lives? Also, what kind of impact that has in the long term, both on the environment, but also on the people, especially in the production process. So, we questioned every aspect from use of the material, but also thought of importance of localized production. What is the impact of technology in that process? And when we get to the point of what is the purpose of the collection itself, we actually try to engage designers real challenges they see around them. So many interesting examples came out of that, and we basically have seen that there was less of a focus on putting collections on the runway itself, but more of designing products that are connected to people's needs. So we had designers really think about working with different communities with underprivileged backgrounds, including, for example, with disability, individuals that have visual impairments, people that are in wheelchair, all the way to communities that are living in areas where they don't have access to education or and designers that are studying at Parsons were basically working with these communities and looking at how to design products that are relevant to their needs, and ultimately creating products and sometimes collections that are engaging that process, bringing functionality into the product, but also bringing that excitement around fashion into their journey as well, so that people felt empowered throughout the journey. The designer felt like they're doing more than just creating another collection that's going to be sold in a store. At the same time, you're seeing that the designers are recognizing that it's getting harder and harder to get space in wholesale, being able to get recognition for their designs, because there are too many designers out there and too many products. So they are already thinking about how to have a presence without necessarily repeating the same cycle over. So we encourage them to think about new business models, and this is impacting the whole supply chain itself. So these business models, which I'm sure my fellow speakers will touch on as well, is very much focused on how is technology impacting the value chain, and how can we actually look at prolonging the life of the product, including new models such as rental of existing products, sharing products, using secondhand products, but also thinking about creating experiences that are around the brand and not just thinking about growth in terms of selling more of the same product itself.
Okay, So do you think that fashion in that sense will evolve to more functionality?
We are definitely seeing a demand for more functionality from consumers, but also more purpose. So when we talk about sustainability, I think we want to make it all about purpose-driven. One of the issues has been that designers were creating collections, creating the excitement, but not always conveying the message around what other purpose it was serving. The excitement and the beauty is definitely an element of that purpose. But society is in so much turmoil and change that we need to figure out how to go deeper and have fashion serve more than just that pleasure that individual purchases the product for. And to be able to do that, curriculum has been encouraging, not only at Parsons, but many schools, to look at how to engage with different communities that's beyond the typical fashion week setting, and engaging with them to rethink the way the products are designed, but also used, and also creating new models that are potentially better for the overall impact of that production process.
Okay, thank you so much. Hello, Kristen. Now, thank you again for accepting our offer. And I know Jor very well, of course, because I have used it before, and now we are in a very valuable partnership with Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week Istanbul, where 30 of our designers are showing their collections to potential brands and retailers. I would like to hear your ideas on how sustainability had affected and will affect the sales and marketing side of fashion, now that we are in a different era where digital means are much more important than the past. So this is a question everybody asks. How will this affect the fashion industry, not only now, but after everything hopefully is gone, and how it will have a permanent effect on sales and marketing of fashion industry?
Great. Good morning, everybody. Good morning from New York City. I'm Kristen, the CEO of Jor. Thank you for having me today. So yes, I think that the pandemic really escalated and made clear to folks that the way fashion was doing business was really not great for the environment, not great for carbon footprint. And this has given us, as terrible as this has given us the opportunity to be forced to be 100% digital, and to see that actually, in many ways, digital transformation of wholesale buying and selling is better. So what Jor has done, and we're working with Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week Istanbul, as you mentioned, is that we quickly created virtual showrooms for the industry. We actually have about 8,600 brands using us and 200,000 retailers shopping. And by having these showrooms and really focusing on less, being able to show the products in 360-degree imaging, videos, we have found that you don't need to do samples for every single retailer and every single showroom and be shipping samples around the world. And instead, if you concentrate and focus and utilize technology to create these dynamic showrooms, you can do business. And not only is it about business continuity in your existing business, but by doing it virtually, you expand your reach outside of your normal reach. So what we're doing with Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week Istanbul, obviously, is exposing in a positive way all of these Turkish brands to a global audience. And that's something that would not be able to be done easily or inexpensively or without a major impact on the environment if it wasn't for digital. From a retailer perspective and sustainability, quite frankly, you're not having to travel as much. And to be crystal clear, Jor still believes in physical events and still believes that big events should happen, but maybe more gender neutral events. Not so many of them are necessary that you go to every single one of them. But by creating these virtual showrooms that, of all of these brands, our retailers now can shop from their couch. And with a single login, they utilize technology to assortment plan, and again, are the recipients of seeing the 360-degree imaging in the videos, and are able to purchase from brands that they maybe never would have ever heard of or known or been able to travel to their showrooms in the past. So you're saving a carbon footprint on that travel as well. So those two pieces have been really beneficial. The third product that Jor brought into play, and this was recent, is our Jor Passport trade show product. And trade shows also, not a lot of sustainability there, right? A lot of travel to get there, lots of samples at booths. So by making that virtual, you, in essence, go to these virtual booths and are able to see the collections, see them in detail. And, you know, what we're seeing in the data based on what we've hosted so far this year, which is 16 events, including the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week event, is that it's actually expanding the shopping, the buying that buyers do, because they're able in a comprehensive experience to see all of the booths. And it really, with search function and favoriting function, they're just able to get through this more quickly as well, and are able to, you know, do their buying in honestly a sustainable way. Many of them have not left their couch. So, you know, we see this as a permanent change. That's Jor's point of view, meaning that it may not be fully digital, and it probably shouldn't be. There is something to be said. I'm a former buyer at Macy's years ago, and I enjoyed events and showrooms and et cetera. And there is something about, you know, contact, seeing the people, being in the moment of the trends that I still think is important. But we believe that much like if we look at history and what happened on the consumer side of our business, and you think about consumer, you know, 20 years ago, e-commerce launched and all the brick and mortar stores were like, oh my goodness, we need to have websites. And they all created e-commerce sites. Then it became the age of what we call pure play e-commerce, where they thought, oh, I'll just be an e-commerce site. But if you really look around today at companies that were pure play, most of them have now opened physical locations. Why? From a marketing acquisition standpoint, and from just marketing in general, it makes a lot of sense to have physical presence. We believe that that learning, just that wholesale B2B digitization, is just quite frankly 20 years behind. So here we are, the pandemic forced a focus here, and it's making us pure play digital in the moment. But we believe that where this settles and lands is omni-channel, where there'll be less events, which is great for sustainability. But you know, utilizing our iPad app, which already exists, we were omni-channel before the pandemic happened. You will be able to go to these events and just, okay. You'll be able to go to these events and be able to have less of a carbon footprint.
Okay, thank you. So I think I am of the same opinion with you, actually. I think there will be a more hybrid solution in the future. There will be digital, but that doesn't mean there won't be any physical shows, because fashion is something you need to feel and touch and everything. So, but there will be a good balance between digital and physical. So, thank you so much. Mehmet Bey, hoş geldiniz. Öncelikle davetimizi kabul edip geldiğiniz için çok teşekkür ediyorum bu ilk dijital platformumuza. Siz firma olarak çok uzun zaman...
Mr. Mehmet Kaya, thank you so much for joining us today. You are the head of a leading company, actually in its own field, and I suppose sustainability is a hot topic for your customers as well. We followed Burak and Kristen, and I'm curious to hear what's your take on sustainability. Actually, you're like the absolute authority, because you have design, you have production, you have everything. So within this new framework of demands and change and everything, what is yet to come? What will change in your activities, and what have you done so far to keep up with this change? And also, what will be the permanent effect of what we have experienced this year? Apparently, sustainability is here to stay. So what lies in the future? And with these questions, I want to leave the floor to you. I suppose we're having a technical difficulty, which I hope we'll overcome this soon. Our tech team will help us to overcome this issue. We were talking about sustainability, but okay, let's try to hear him once again. Mr. Mehmet Kaya, if it's all okay now, can you please start again? Can you hear me now? Yes, we can. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. So sorry for that technical issue. Well, to be permanent and to be sustainable, I think these are almost the same thing. I mean, we all have to think about the future, and as a producer, of course, sustainability first must be recognized, and especially this pandemic showed us a lot of different things and showed us how great digital opportunities there are. And then a new normal started to take shape. In the market, in the industry, there are a lot of training needs as well. But I mean, like you said, we have a lot of different activities, and within this supply chain, we are standing in many different aspects. So the ready-wear garment industry is in a transformation right now, is in a transition. My take on sustainability is, well, essentially it's about resource use because our sources are limited. This is an obvious fact. So in order to meet infinite demand, I mean, you would have to have superpowers or so because it's impossible. So all industry stakeholders must read the demand carefully and should take the necessary steps. Of course, some steps are taken. And while those steps were being taken, what did the producers do? Let me share examples of my own company. We at TYH, we focused on sustainability in 3 pillars: ecology, social, and the management aspect. These are 3 fundamental areas. And in ecology, what should be focused? Of course, the water. And water is consumed tremendously, and unfortunately, our industry pollutes the water tremendously. So we should focus on methods that uses less water or pollutes less. So new technologies are a must, and we have to keep the air fresh and clean as well in order to not to take the freedom of the people away. And people should be at the center of everything. Human beings should be prioritized, and we carried out some serious works and efforts ecologically. Especially after Rana Plaza incident, we focus on OHS, the occupational health and safety, which is a crucial thing for all of us. When you look at the income distribution globally, this shows us great inequalities that causes mass migrations and everything. So we need to come up with solutions that can answer a lot of issues, and solutions must be efficient, and we need to increase good examples and good practices. So what did we focus on? We focused on the renewables. For example, we have solar panels on the top of our facilities, and this is how we're generating our power now. We have many facilities that have solar panels, and we want to disseminate this approach, be it solar energy, be it the wind. We want to generate our power through renewable energy, and we are so proud to be a pioneer in this aspect. And the second thing, collecting rainwater. We had some efforts on this as well. So, in average, we can meet 80 to 85 days of water need through rainwater collection, and this brings us a great advantage. See, there are possibilities, but we need permanent and efficient solutions. And what about the social side of these things? We are working together with universities, but we're also working with high schools as well, especially vocational high schools. We established special classrooms for this to provide further trainings and to provide technical trainings. Well, we work hand in hand with many vocational high schools now, and this turned out to be really beneficial for all parties. Supporting vocational high schools help high school graduates to find a job if they cannot continue with their university education. And we had social projects as well to always support and enhance our industry. So this is the end of our time. So can you please wrap it up? Oh, sure. So you have to be decision makers. You have to put out a great effort out there. The ready-wear garment in Turkey is of course affected by the fast fashion notion, like use and dispose. But no, we have to focus on high quality, demand meeting, value added solutions. And I believe that's the only way to move forward to the future. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Selçuk Mehmet Kaya, the CEO of TYH. We also followed Christine Sevilla. You were in New York, right? We crossed the ocean thanks to you. And greetings and all the love and all the best to New York. We also followed Burak Çakmak, the founder of Thean. Thank you so much. And dear moderator, thank you so much. I suppose this was your first experience as a moderator.